Chapter 6. Travis opens the door of the pawn shop in town and waves me in ahead of him. The bell on the door announces our arrival as it hits the glass. The dusty smell of the place triggers a bunch of memories. Good times. Together times. When Dad and Grandpa would take Travis and me out looking for coins. Numbers and money are something Travis and I can do well. So we took to it fast. Excuse me. Grandpa loved the dustiest stores best because they were the ones that would have uncracked rolls of coins in the backs of their safes. When the store owners would trade the old rolls for new bills, we'd open them at home to see what they had inside. Sometimes we'd find a buffalo nickel, a mercury dime, or an Indian head penny. It was like a little bit of Christmas. Being here makes me ache to go back in time. The man behind the counter doesn't say hello. He rolls a toothpick back and forth in his mouth with his tongue. In one way, it's completely impressive. In another, the grossest thing I've ever seen. Travis rests his fingertips on the glass counter, looking down into the case filled with coins. You need something? The man doesn't talk the way Mom says you're supposed to talk to customers. I want to buy some coins, Travis says. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Travis brushes his chin with his knuckle, something he does when he's nervous. The guy reaches up and takes the toothpick out of his mouth. He uses it to point at Travis. Do you have money or are you all talk? Travis does what Dad said to never do. He shows him his money. And not money like a regular person. A roll of money wrapped in an elastic band. The guy's eyes widen. Then he asks, looking for something special? I want Liberty coins. You got any? He takes out several coins. One is a mercury dime with a head that looks like it has wings for ears. I remember those, I say. Like the one Daddy has in his wallet. Travis turns them over in his hand. Nice. You have anything more unusual? The guy's eyebrows jump. He reaches into a drawer. This is unusual, but it'll cost you big. I don't mind paying for something special. Okay, then. This one is special. He puts a penny on the counter. Travis picks it up and his eyebrows bunch up. This is smaller than other pennies. The guy nods. It is. A rare find. Travis glances at me and then he turns toward the guy. How much? Well, the guy says, if you know anything about coins, you know that a coin with a flaw in it is far more valuable than a regular coin. Something isn't right with it and it's worth more? Like I said, Travis said. How much? The guy tilts his head to the side. Well, normally I'd ask for 80, but I'll charge you, say, 75? Travis smiles. Even I remember how Dad used to tell us never to smile when you get a number. Never. Even if it's the best number in the world. And here he is smiling like he won the lottery. I try to look serious enough for the both of us. Well, that's really generous of you. 75 bucks for a penny that's been dipped in nitric acid. The guy's smile falls off his face. I bet the police would be interested in a little bit of fraud. Now listen, Travis interrupts. Look, I wasn't born yesterday. Stop messing with me. Travis points at a coin in the case that has a woman wrapped in a sheet and the sun rays behind her. It is beautiful. That 1933 Walking Liberty $50. How much for that one? Well, that one is in really fine condition. In fact, just tell me how much, Travis says, leaning in, palms on the glass. 45. 36, and you throw in the mercury dime for my little sister. I look up quick. For me? Then I do the math. Yep, he's following Dad's rule of offering 20% less than what they offer. But Travis threw in something extra. The guy squints. 40. Travis nods. Done. He slaps some money on the glass case. Outside the store, Travis holds the dime toward me. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it so much. Thank you, Travis. You're the best. He looks a little sad, staring at the coin. You know, Grandpa was born in 1933. That's why I chose these coins. They were both minted in that year. I look down at my mercury dime and its date, wishing people could last as long as coins. When we get into the car, Travis says, Did you see how that guy in there took me for a fool, trying to rip me off? Remember, Allie, when people have low expectations of you, you can sometimes use it to your advantage. Then he looks me right in the eyes and points to my nose. As long as you don't have low expectations of yourself. You hear? I nod again, but I think to myself that it's not hard these days. Chapter 7. I sit on my bed holding a copy of Alice in Wonderland. The shaky writing in the front of the book says, "For Allie, my wondrous girl, love, Grandpa." The colors of the book are all bright, even though the book is old. Inside, the pages are soft and the writing is bigger in the books now. But I still can't read it by myself. It's like having a gift that's locked in a glass box. I'm feeling heavy, but I always do on Sunday nights. The thought of another week of school does that. It's like knowing I have to pull a tire through a keyhole the next day. But I'll have a new teacher. Mr. Daniels sounds like a grandfatherly type with pockets full of lollipops, which would be nice. I'm hoping he'll spend a lot of time straightening his bow tie and telling us about the good old days and not giving us much work. But when I show up, I find that Mr. Daniels is no grandfather. He's younger than Mrs. Hall. He wears a dark jacket and a tie with colored circles on it. When I get closer, I realize they're planets. Most of the kids are gathered around him. I throw my stuff in the closet and walk over. He says, "My very excellent mother just served us nachos," and claims that it's an easy way to memorize the planets in order from the sun. Albert, whose hair reminds me of a bird's nest, stands nearby. I feel bad for Pluto. I look over, and my eyes are pulled to the bruises on his arms. Pluto was a planet all those years, and then someone decided it wasn't anymore? Too small, too far away, orbit wasn't just right. I don't think Pluto cares, Albert, I mumble. He sits in his chair and says, "Well, I do." I feel bad for him, and I don't want to ask him about the marks. He's big and chunky, but not fat, the kind of size where others would usually leave him alone. I pull out my chair and sit down. Okay, I tell myself, I'm going to do better. I'm going to work harder. That's all I need to do. I'm going to really concentrate this time, even though I know I've tried and it doesn't work. Reading for me is like when I drop something and my fingers scramble to catch it. And just when I think I've got it, I don't. If trying to read helped, I'd be a genius. Mr. Daniels is out in front of me. I hold my breath and lean back. He holds out his hand. "I'm Mr. Daniels. Nice to meet you," he says. Leans towards Jessica. I guess he doesn't know who he's talking to. As usual, most of her friends laugh. "Hey," Mr. Daniels says, turning to her. "That isn't cool. We don't do that in here," which wipes a smile off Shay's face. Then he turns back to me. "What's your name?" "Allie Nickerson." I answer so softly that even I can barely hear myself. "Well, are you going to shake my hand, Allie Nickerson?" he asks. "I don't bite on Mondays." Great. Just what I need, a funny guy for a teacher. I take his hand for only for a second. My mind is already spinning off, wondering what terrible things Mrs. Silver has told him, the plans they've made for me. I see myself wrapped in robe and lying on the train tracks, just like in Grandpa's old black and white silent movies. "Okay, Fantasticos, take your seats. Time to set the world on fire." Everyone scrambles to their seats, but I'm still lying on the imaginary train tracks, all tied up and watching the engine come around the corner. Chapter 8. The first day with Mr. Daniels starts out okay because we have math in the morning, and Mr. Daniels does this thing he calls bus driver. He says, "You're the bus driver," and then he tells us how many people get on and off, and we have to add and subtract the numbers in our head. No paper, no pencils, just math. When I was younger, I loved math, everything about math, but in school, math now has letters. Like, what does X equal? There are also long stories with characters, and although the story is supposed to end with some number, all the words block my path to getting there. But the day turns into a wooden nickel day at snack time when Mr. Daniels calls me up to his desk. He holds out the assignment I did Mrs. Hall, where we had to describe ourselves, the one with Y written all over it. My stomach flops over. "So I'm wondering what this means exactly. Can you tell me?" he asks. I shrug. "I'm wondering if you can write just one paragraph for me. Something about you. I'd like to learn something about you." I stay quiet. With teachers, if you stay quiet long enough, they just start doing the talking for you, filling in the answers, and then you just have to nod, so I wait. But he waits too. Finally, he says, "Come on now. Can you write that paragraph for me?" I feel heavy. No, I say. He doesn't want to know about the real me. It'll be like the people in scary movies who think they want to know what's in the basement, but when they find out, they're always sorry. Allie, did you say no? He asks without being mad. I turn to myself to stone. He takes a deep breath and leans forward. So, is it writing you don't like? I think about saying no, except could cause me trouble later. Like the chess games in Grandpa's Alice in Wonderland book. You have to be super sure before you make a final move. But I figure Mr. Daniels probably already knows this about me, so I nod. What do you like then? Buffalo wings, I say. He laughs a little. What do you like about school? Leaving. He waits for me to say more. I like math and art. I like to draw. Oh, well, that's cool. Do you draw a lot? Yeah. So did you find the writing difficult or just not like it? It's easy, I lie. It's just boring. Well, maybe we can do some things to make it less boring for you, to excite you about writing. It's a great way to explore. Be creative. Ask questions. I point at my paper. I asked lots of questions there. Yes, he laughs. I guess you did. He takes a deep breath. Here's the thing, Allie. I'm going to be honest with you. I've talked with both Mrs. Hall and Mrs. Silver, and I know you spent a lot of time in the office in the past. You're getting good at sent to the office, but you can be too good at the wrong things. Uh oh. I just want you to know that I'm going to try really hard not to send you to the office. If we have something to deal with, you and I will deal with it together, he winks. What happens in room 206 stays in room 206. What? So we won't involve Mrs. Silver anymore, okay? I think she has enough to do around here. Oh no. Did he just take away my get out of jail free card? Also, he says, moving his head to look at me in the eye, I'm on your side, okay? I want to help you. So he wants to help me, huh? He has no idea what he's in for.